Clive is doing a live stream right now as well, so a bunch of folks are over there watching his live stream. And I'm starting a little bit early. My show isn't supposed to start until 5 because I have an appointment I have to run out to. I have to leave about 6 o'clock. And so I don't have as much time as we normally allot to this. But we're going to talk about the new Rolex releases, and we'll see what we can do there. Let me just mute this, and I'll just wait for folks to come in. And I'm also going to have a guest coming in. Matthew Stecker is going to come in from his setup, and we're going to talk about some of his Rolex watches and get some of his opinions on what's been released. So that should be kind of fun. And I think Rolex released a couple of decent watches. I think it's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the Grand Seiko time. We are 8 minutes early as of now. And I used a custom white balance on that, trying to get the gold to show up the correct gold color, but I'm still not quite getting the exactly correct gold color, that gold on the dial. So it is what it is. You got to see these watches in person. That's the way that works, to make sure that that you're seeing what you're really seeing. And Rob Wilson is in the house early, and so we're gonna. And R Wags is in the house. I'm back from my business trip and got the wrench ready if needed. Good. It's good to have the wrench gang in. Hopefully the trolls are all over watching Clive's broadcast. He's live, so hopefully they're all over there watching that one. So we shouldn't have a problem. But while we're waiting for Matthew to come in, I'm going to cut to the Rolex website. I'm sure most of you all have already seen this. The 2019 new watches. If not, you can check this out on Rolex on their website. They've got a whole little spread here. And from what I understand, all of the Yacht-Master models now have the new movement. This with the 70-hour power reserve and so forth. Not just the new Yacht-Master 42, but the 40 mil Yacht-Master with the blue dial, the one that I like. And also, from what I understand, now maybe you guys can let me know in the chat, but the Datejust 36, not only this new black dial one, but all of the Datejust 36 have the new movement. And from what I've been told, the Date 36 also has the new movement, all of them. So let me know what you guys have found out in your research on that, as far as which watches definitively do have the new movement. There are some people that have kind of complained about the GMT-MASTER, the Batman edition, having the Jubilee bracelet, but I think that's a win. I think that's a robust bracelet with the solid center links and everything now. It's a beefy bracelet, and it's gorgeous on wrist, and they resist scratching more than the Oyster, especially the Oysters with the polished center links. Those are scratch magnets for sure. But I just think the Jubilee is a better looking bracelet. And I had a GMT that was all black on the Jubilee bracelet many years ago, and that was one of my favorite watches for a while. So it's the GMT is great on the Jubilee, so I don't understand people complaining about that. But people like to complain about anything. As far as the Sea Dweller goes, with the gold on the dial there, the one in the center, I think it's neat. I think it's a cool watch. I'm not a big fan of steel and gold watches. I think it's like a halfway point. It's like neither an all-steel sport watch or an all-gold watch. It's kind of like a compromise watch, so I typically wouldn't go that way. Now, I make the exception with the Datejust with the white gold fluted bezel, because that's much better than having the smooth bezel, because the smooth bezel will show every little scratch, whereas the white gold, the fluted bezel like that, it doesn't, because just the way it's designed. And of course, like I said before, the Jubilee bracelet holds up great as far as not showing scratches. So those are my initial impressions are favorable. Now, the Yacht-Master 42, I would skip that one. That just, I mean, you know, you're going to spend that kind of money for a watch with basically a rubber bracelet. Yeah, okay, it's got metal in it or whatever it's got, but no, I would pass on that, and I would take that money and buy a day date is the way I would handle that situation. So Jarvis Storm is in the house. Hey, I got a collection. I got an allocation from my AD for the Batman today. Okay, Jarvis, when are you going to get it? Let us know when you're going to get it. We'd like to have you on the show so you can come in on the show and show it to us. Vegas is in the house. Andrew's in the house. The other releases I really like. All right, so put in the chat what of the new watches, which one you really like. Which one you really are like, okay, I want to get that watch. Let me know. I like the Datejust 36. I probably won't buy one, but of all the ones they showed, that is just a super cool watch. I like that dial. I like the fact that it's got the new movement in it. And the Datejust 36 has always just been a great watch. And this just kind of takes it to a new level, if you ask me. I think that's just a fantastic piece. So, yeah, you can't beat that. Now, Just Bluefish guy said that he thought it looked like the lugs have been tapered a little bit, softened a little bit. What do you guys think about that? Did they change the lugs on the 36 mil Datejust? Let me know what you think about that. Let's see, the new, yeah, the Yacht-Master, yeah, the 42. No, I would skip that. It seems that Rolex removed the yellow gold two-tone and full yellow gold GMT-MASTER II from their site. Okay. Not sure. Had to put $5,000 deposit. They said they will call and update me. Okay. Well, let us know. Keep us posted. And Warren S. is in the house from York, England. And Datejust 36 and Date 36. Yeah. Two fantastic watches. Blue Shirt Buddha's in the house. Datejust looks very nice. Yeah, I'd like to see one in person. Datejust was the nicest of them all. Prefer the Omega lineup for more than anything Rolex has, but I like the new Sea Dweller. Okay. Got to head home now, so I'll be listening in the car. Blue Shirt Buddha is going to be listening in the car. The new Batman is a winner. Yeah, I'd say so. See, now it's almost a toss-up between the Batman and the Pepsi. I mean, they're both just fantastic options. I would probably still go with the Pepsi, but they both have the power reserve. They both have the Jubilee bracelet. They're both winners, if you ask me. Is the 42mm Yacht-Master only? Yes, white gold, as far as I can tell. As of now, it's only available in white gold. The new Batman will probably be hard as heck to get, like when the Pepsi came out. Hopefully that means the Pepsi might become easier to get. So just get a Pepsi. Like I say, to me, it's a toss-up, and I would probably go for the Pepsi. As far as looks concerned and all that, I think the Pepsi is a winner. Let me know. Forget about scarcity and hard to get and all of that. If both watches were sitting there and they're the same price, which one would you get? Put in the chat, Pepsi or Batman. Pepsi or Batman, which one you would get. Hi, Wrench Gang and everybody else from our WAGs. And we're, like I say, we're going to have a guest coming in to talk about all of this at 5:15 p.m. I'm going to have to wrap up at 6 o'clock because I have a another meeting I have to go to. So, but yeah, this looks pretty exciting. And if you haven't seen all of this, just go to the Rolex website, and they got a whole section on the new watches. And They've got a few of them featured here, new models. And like I say, from what I've heard, the Datejust 36 has the new movement too. Let's see what they say about the Datejust 36 here, because I haven't read this page. And I wouldn't go for the diamond dial personally, but that's a gorgeous watch. But I'm just not into the diamonds. But if I were, that would probably be the one I would get. Let's see. See what they say about this. Distinctive new dials. That is a gorgeous dial. I have to give them that. I have to give them that. Let me play this. Stunning. Can you say stunning? Stunning, stunning, stunning. Yeah, I could probably make an exception on the diamond thing for that one. Probably could do that. Let's see here. It's not saying, it's not talking about the movement on this. Let me see. Where did you guys see information on the movement? President Bracelet has just always been so stunning. Oh, here it is. 3255. There you go. New versions of the Datejust 36 are equipped with caliber 3255. Now it says the new versions. I hope they're not going to still be making the old version. I guess they'll all be, quote, new versions. Let's see here. For casual use, I would get Pepsi. That's a good point, Carlos. The Batman is probably looks a little more formal. What would really be better would be an all black, if you want it to be a little bit dressier. But I guess they're not going to be offering that model. Let's see. I like the Pepsi and Batman colors the same. Tie. Okay. GMT, Pepsi, or Batman. Not a maxi case like subs. I like. Yeah, I think the case looks pretty good on those. I agree with you. I don't think it's. They still refer to it as a maxi case, I think, but it doesn't look as bulbous. The lugs look much more attractive on this watch. Much more attractive. And I think it's thinner on the wrist. I think it lays flatter on the wrist than a sub, too, by a little bit. The lugs could still be trimmed down some. They're still a little bit bulbous, but they're acceptable, I'll put it that way. Whereas on the sub, and some people suggest that it's kind of an optical illusion because because of the Jubilee bracelet. But I think it just looks better. That's what I think. Than the sub, the lugs on the sub. Let me know what you guys think about that. So, and I still think the 40mm Yacht-Master is the way I would go. Got to pay a little bit more money, but I just think it's a more attractive case without those sharp sides and you know, with the more rounded, sexy case. I just like the looks of that better, and I think it's more comfortable on wrist. Let's see. I've ordered a new Batman, but I think Rolex are coasting this year. Yeah, I don't think they need to offer a whole bunch of new stuff every year. I mean, they've got a very classic lineup. That's what I really like about them, is the consistency. Now, the fact that they're updating with the newer movements and all that, that's great. I mean, they're giving us that 70-hour power reserve and all those features, but I just wished, and you know, I was just hoping they were going to fix the maxi case on the subs, but they're not going to do that. So that was the only thing I was disappointed about. Same movement as the Date 840, Carlos. That's right. The black on black GMP has been discontinued. I have no idea why. I agree with you. They should have kept going with that. BG case is beauty. Okay. I was very surprised the black GMT got discontinued. Seems strange not to have that option in the range. I hear you. I liked mine back in the day when I had mine. But, you know, let's face it, the two that they have are gorgeous. I mean, the Batman is close enough to an all black. Both colors are kind of a little bit toned down, if you will. I mean, the blue on it, you know, is not really striking. So I think that's good enough. I think we're, you know, complaining just to complain at some point. Let's see. Looks to me much better than the sub, Carlos says. I agree. The question is, what happened to the old Batman? What will happen to the old Batman? Well, there are people already saying that they hate the Jubilee bracelet and all this, and that that's a dress watch bracelet and it shouldn't be on a GMT. I disagree. I couldn't disagree more. I think it's gorgeous with the Jubilee. And somebody in one of the forums, one of the Facebook groups, said, "Hey, if you really want the Oyster bracelet, you can still buy it and put it on there." So I guess that's true. But the last thing I would do is pull that Jubilee bracelet off and put an Oyster on there. I'll put it that way. Hi, Craig. The Day-Date has only one dial without diamond, namely the champagne dial. I don't think that it has enough contrast for you. Have a look at the dial options. Well, wait a minute now. They usually offer quite a few dial options on the Day-Date. Are you talking about on this new movement, is it only going to be available in a few 36 mil Day-Dates, or is it going to be all 36 mil Day-Dates? Do we know? Do we have any clarification on that? Hello, everyone. Hi. Okay. I think the Pepsi looks better on the Jubilee. Oh, I think they both look great on the Jubilee. You don't think the Batman looks great on the Jubilee? I think they both look fantastic. Let's see here. Let me go to my official jewelers page here and see if I can find a... I'll pull up the Pepsi. Where the heck is it? GMT-MASTER II. GMT-MASTER II. Of course, they've got the Batman on there. This is Colonial Jewelers down in Frederick, Maryland. Good folks, by the way, if you want an AD to deal with. Good folks. There's the Pepsi. The Pepsi critter. Yeah, that's just a good-looking watch. I mean, I have to admit, that is just a good-looking watch. I think they're both stunning. I think the Batman is equally as stunning as that. I mean, you're really splitting hairs if you like, say one of those isn't gorgeous. Let's see. Only one Day-Date dial without diamonds per metal. That is strange that they would do that. Why would they do that? They used to always be available in various dials. When I bought mine, I had like, you know, half a dozen different dials were on display. Do we buy GMTs now or wait? I wouldn't want the watch with the old power reserve, if that's what you're asking. Now, the Pepsi has the 70-hour power reserve, but I wouldn't buy a Rolex with the old movement. Not new. I wouldn't. I'd have to get a deal on it to buy it. I would definitely want the new movement. Okay. Looks decent. Just something makes the Pepsi look better to my eyes. I think I give the Pepsi a little bit of an edge. I think I agree with that. All 36 day dates have the new movement. You really have to check the dial options. Very disappointing. If what you're saying is true, that is disappointing. You sure they won't release some more, you know, in relatively short order? We'll see what happens with all that. I wonder if dropping the all-black GMT was drive more demand to the sub. Well, or maybe they think if if you've got the Batman and the Pepsi both on Jubilees, that's pretty good. Maybe they think that's enough, at least for now. Maybe next year they'll bring back the black. The GMTs both look amazing with Jubilee. Interesting, the Oyster is now only in precious metal. Vegas. Yeah, I think the Jubilee's the way to go, and I'd love to see the Jubilee in precious metal also. That would be stunning. I mean, can you imagine? Here's what they should roll out. They should roll out an all-gold GMT, all black, with the Jubilee. That would be stunning. That would be very tempting. I might like have to lay out some cash for that puppy. Let's see. Where is the AD in Frederick? The one I know is Montgomery Mall in Bethesda. It's right in downtown Frederick, right at what they call the square at Patrick Street and West Patrick and shoot, what's the other street called? Market, at that intersection, right in downtown Frederick. It's an old bank building. It's really cool looking place. So yeah, they're worth checking out. They're cool folks. I think and tell them I sent you. I think the Batman is Dreamwatch now with the Jubilee bracelet. Yeah. The outgoing Batman is not rare. Don't be suckered into paying too much for one. No, I wouldn't buy one of those. No, 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 no. You can see all the day-date dials in Rolex's website configurator. Well, hopefully they will add some more. Hopefully they haven't shown all of them yet. We can just hope, right? So I'm going there right now. I'm going to go into the see if I can get into the configurator here. In about 2 minutes, we're supposed to be getting a call in, so stand by for all that. Novel dollar design. So do I click Learn More to get to that? How do I get to the configurator? This website is not very intuitive. They should just have a button that says Configure or Buy or something. There's a brochure. Anyway, discover more. Oh, jeez. All right, I guess he's calling here. Okay. We got Matthew in the house. There we go. All right.
Hello, Craig.
I am... Go ahead and say something. It sounded like I still was getting an echo.
I have... there's no sound on in the room. I don't think you would be.
It sounds a little bit echoey. I don't know why, but when I've brought other people in by Skype, it sounds nice and clear.
Let's try...
We're getting like a reverb or something.
Yeah, hold on.
You don't have like a room mic or something, do you? Or do you have two mics feeding in?
Hold on. I can take down the volume of this mic here.
You know, you know what I've heard that, you know, the interface box that you're using?
Yeah.
I've heard that there's a delay in that. I think that might be what's causing it. Okay, so
There certainly could be.
we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. Show us what you've got there. Can you switch to your close-up cam?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a Rolex day with the big announcements, and so you know, I travel for work. I travel a lot of the time, and the watch that I wear when I travel almost exclusively is the Explorer 2, which, you know, I really like. The dual time zone is awesome, and it's rugged, and you know, this watch has been just a tool for me.
Now, what year was that one made?
So this is no holes, solid end links that puts it toward the end of the run. I don't have the exact date. I think it's early 2000s. I actually bought this from Kenny Ewan at Jewelers on Time.
Okay.
Probably about 6 years ago.
Okay. Nice piece. And you wear that one? You wear that one quite a bit?
Yeah, that's, you know, as we talked about earlier, kind of off. You know, it's interesting. You know, this bug of buying and selling watches can get to one, and you know, I've really kind of created a bit of a side business in kind of collecting mostly vintage pieces that I kind of slip into the rotation. I'd say about half the time that Rolex is on my wrist, and about half the time it's kind of one of my vintage watches.
Gotcha. All right. So what else do you have to show us?
Oh, I have all kinds of stuff. So actually, you know, all this Grand Seiko talk, Craig. A watch that I really love is this Grand Seiko 8N65, which was their first high-accuracy quartz in the 90s. This is a two-tone.
Okay.
So this watch is down to 10 seconds a year.
Yep.
You know, I know it's not fashionable to like quartz, but it is a fantastic piece.
No, the 9F is a fantastic movement. Absolutely. Let me see the side of the case. So I see the case profile of it.
Yeah, I may have to refocus to do that.
Okay.
But it's a relatively thin. There we go. It's a relatively thin piece.
Would you say it's about 10 mils thick?
Yeah, it's maybe even less. I don't have my gauge with me, but it's got the gold. It's got the gold medallion on the back. It's kind of hard to see here. And it's got the gold bezel. This is the 9100 model.
Yep.
You often see the 9000 model, which is similar, but doesn't have the cyclops over the date. And this has solid gold hands instead of hands that are interrupted by the moon. It's kind of
now this one, is it a 36 mil case?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice piece. All right. What else do you have?
Oh my gosh. You know, so it's interesting in the world of Rolex. Today's a Rolex day, of course, with the new news. And by the way, the new date is really tempting. And it's a little strange that they only have, you know, I don't think I could pull off the diamond dial. So for me, they only have one choice with the new movement, which is the gold dial with the stick hands, which is nice, but I guess I understand what they're doing, which is to, you know, saturate the high end of the market first, and then eventually they'll roll in lower end pieces. I mean, lower end is relative when you're talking about a day. But anyway, so, you know, kind of my philosophy has been to stay away from the watches a lot of people think are really hot, you know, the modern sports watches. So in the world of Rolex, I've tended to really kind of collect and accumulate interesting vintagey pieces. So this is a Precision from the 70s that I wear on the NATO band, and it's provided me a ton of use. I wear this. My daughter's worn it. Basically, everyone in my family grabs that watch quite a bit.
You know, one
and
thing,
it's steam, which is nice.
One thing I want to suggest, you're gonna, not on right now, but you're gonna have to add some light. Your watches are a little bit underexposed. So when you get, you'll probably want to set the camera on manual or something and try to get it so you can get a little bit more exposure on that. But it looks good.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I actually had. You know, my SLR attached to a macro lens, and just before we came on the air, the battery died. And so I grabbed my Sony video camera and threw it on the same tripod with the same lens, but I didn't have time to figure out how to override the automatic gain settings.
Which camera were you using that the battery went dead on?
It's a Sony Alpha 6000.
Okay, so you probably have to get one of those like batteries that you can slip in, that you can plug in.
Yeah. You know, it's frustrating they make it that you can't, with that model camera, you can't charge it, you can't run it off AC power.
Yeah, my A6500, which I'm using for my main shot, that one I can plug in to the USB, the micro USB, and keep it charging while I'm streaming. So that's
I have to figure out how to do that.
The newer ones you can do that. I don't know if you can do it on yours, but you can buy those batteries that go in that that have a cord that plug in. Like
it looks to the camera like it's a battery.
Yeah, the dummy batteries. They're pretty cheap. Okay, so what else do you have? Let's show one more Rolex.
Okay, one more Rolex. Let's see. You know what? This is a watch I wear quite a bit. This is a 70s date that has been serviced pretty recently by the folks at Rolex. Mm-hmm. And it's a relatively rare combination with this blue dial. It came from the factory that way.
Focus is a little off.
Yeah, I'm still figuring out how to do this with the right monitors. That's probably a little bit better.
Yep. And now this one, you said you had it serviced by Rolex. Rolex where?
In New York City.
Oh, they're doing it in New York now?
Oh, yeah. You go to the Rolex building there up on the second floor. There's a service bureau.
Yeah, because years ago, I used to always have my watches serviced there, and then they stopped, and then they started doing them in Texas. And
they send some stuff there, but actually I found they're pretty good. My daughter had a vintage Tudor that I took there to get serviced, and it was outside their service life window, but they sent it away and they scoured their vaults to find the parts she needed. She needed new links and she needed some stuff, and they were able to find it. And they've done kind of 4 or 5 pieces for me. Mm-hmm. It's not cheap, but they do a really nice job. And for the pieces that I have, I'm not super worried about them, changing out a tropical dial or them losing, original vintagey hands. They're essentially kind of more workman pieces.
Yeah.
They've done it. I guess it probably cost about, so look, that piece today would sell for $1,500. They want $700 to service it. So if it's something that you're selling, it's not really it's not a winning proposition to service and sell it.
Yeah.
But as something that you're keeping for years, it's I've always found their service to be worth it.
Good. Well, nice piece. All right.
Yeah,
well, yeah. And if you could do me a favor and try to research a little bit and let me know in the chat how the audio is sounding to you guys. Are you getting that like reverb sound on his audio? Because that's what I'm getting when I'm monitoring, and just let us know in the chat what that's sounding like. So yeah. Well, thanks for calling in. Can you switch back to your other camera?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
Yeah.
Craig. It's thanks for bringing me in. It's funny. I watch your stream from time to time, and I appreciate your perspective, and so it's kind of an honor to be swung in.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to you becoming a regular. Now, one thing you might want to look into is the adapter that you're using. Look into those delay issues, and if there's a way to mitigate that.
Yeah, I will. It's funny. I'm a musician in my other spare time. The microphone I'm using is a pretty high quality mic that just goes into the XLR port on the back of that.
SM57.
Actually, this is a Shure BG40. It's kind of a more obscure, older mic, but it's a pretty high quality mic. But I have to look. It may be that one of the cameras is picking up audio at the same time.
Yeah,
but I appreciate you helping me figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do some testing and try to figure that out, because if we can get that worked out, you've got a really nice setup. This is going to be good. So, yeah, they're hearing the reverb too. Yeah, they're hearing it.
Got it. Well, I will hop out, but I appreciate the feedback, and I'll get that licked.
Yeah, we'll do some testing on a subsequent stream. We'll get you in before the show and see if we can figure that out. So,
all right, it'll be fun. Thanks, Craig. I'll be listening.
Yep. Thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you.
There you go, another live report, a live report from the field. That's how we do it on this channel. And I think what it is I think it's the interface box that he's using. I looked into those when they first came out. It was a good concept. It allows you to plug in 2 different sources, and then it plugs into your computer using USB, and it basically looks to your computer like it's a typical webcam. And so any program like Skype or Facebook or anything can use that as a source. So the concept is great. The problem is, and some of the reviewers commented on this, and this is why I didn't buy it, is they commented on that lag issue with the audio, and evidently I don't think there's a way to adjust it, to mitigate it. On my Roland mixer here, there is a way to do it. And the way I have my audio running through, everything tends to stay in sync. So I haven't really had a problem with that. But there is a way you can adjust it if you do have a problem with that. So we'll get that worked out. We'll get that worked out. Matthew is serious about this, so we will get it worked out. Folks, we got another half an hour. If there's anybody else that wants to call in via Skype and come into the show and show their watch or watches and talk about the new 2019 Rolexes, let me know in the chat and we will give it a shot. We'll try to bring you guys in live. And anybody else that wants to join the show on a regular basis and wants to work on the tech side of it, I'll be happy to help you out as far as getting an acceptable setup so that you can come in with decent video and decent audio quality. We're trying to present a quality product to you folks. That's what we're trying to do here with Mid-Atlantic TV, and because you guys deserve it. It's out of respect to our subscribers that we do that. Speaking of respect, let's take a look at that Grand Seiko and see how that thing is smoothing along. Look at that second hand. Just smoothing right along. You know, just like nobody's business. It'll sit there and do that for decades. I guarantee you that watch is not going to be serviced. It is not going to be serviced. And as long as I keep it, it's not going to be serviced. I'll put it that way. And I'll let you know if it ever gives any trouble. That's the way we are here on this channel, is we'll let you know. We're not going to shield you from the facts. We're going to let you know. Looks promising, loving Matthew's vintage Rolex collection. Yeah, he's got a bunch of watches, so we're going to be able to talk about some really cool watches. Absolutely, that's what we're going to be able to do. In this troll-free zone, you know, people that are in motion. Matthew's in motion, right? He's making things happen. He's going to get his own channel going. And so that's what this channel is for. This channel is for people that are positive and moving forward and making things happen. And that sounds like that's Matthew to me. Let me know, folks. Share some more of your thoughts on the new Rolexes that came out. Let me know what you think. I'm still liking the Yacht-Master 40. Let me go and see if I can find that and show you what I mean. Show you what I mean about that. Classic watches. Their website is not very well organized. I mean, it's very tricky to navigate this thing. All I'm trying to find is the Yacht-Master, folks, and not going well here. Discover more? Is that what I got to do? I'm not even going to show you this navigation because it's just painful. All right, here's the Yacht-Master 2. I guess if I click on Yacht-Master, hopefully they'll show me both. Hopefully. I think I'm getting closer. I'm getting warmer. Now we're looking at the Yacht-Master II. See, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of the Yacht-Master II. Not going there. See if we can get to the Yacht-Master. See if we can find a Yacht-Master anywhere in here. Here, now we're getting warmer. There's a Yacht-Master in gold. Okay. Guess if I click on this arrow, is that going to help me out? No. This navigation is really poor. Oh, here we're getting closer. We're getting warmer. If I didn't like the blue dial one so much, this one would probably be my second choice. This is pretty stunning, folks. You got to admit, that's a pretty stunning watch. There we go. There's the blue puppy. Can we not see the whole thing? Come on, folks. We can't see the whole thing. What are you doing to me, guys? They're teasing you with just part of it. That is a cool watch. I'm going to come right out and say it. That is a cool watch. Okay. Let's see. The TTC Dweller will be love-hate watch, I think. Yeah, I'm not a fan of I don't need a two-tone sport watch. I'm not so sure about that whole situation. Yacht-Master 42 in steel would have been a home run. I don't know. I don't want one on that, whatever they call that rubber strap. I'd rather, tell you the truth, I'd love to have a Jubilee on that. I'd like to, first of all, I'd like to have a Jubilee on this 40. On that Yacht-Master 40 with the blue dial. Can you imagine that with a Jubilee? Just take a moment and think about how stunning that would be. That would trump both the Pepsi and the Batman. That would trump them right out into left field. You'd have the beautiful case shape of the Yacht-Master, that beautiful blue dial with that red letter in that second hand and that platinum bezel. Are you kidding me? With a Jubilee bracelet. Back the truck up. Load it up. That's what I say. Yeah, I can design the perfect watch. It doesn't take me but a few seconds. I can design the perfect watch, but they're not going to release it. They don't want to release the perfect watch. Let's see here. Matthew got some nice audio gear. Yeah, but he's got to work out that reverb, that echo. I think it's the interface box. I think that's the weak link there. Let's see here. Did Rolex lower the beat rate to get a long power reserve? No, I don't think so. I don't think they did. I think they just made the whole movement more efficient. Like Grand Seiko, that's how they did it. They just made everything a lot more efficient. And so they were able to go with a higher beat, and still get a long power reserve. Dial is too busy. Dial is too busy on which watch? Not on the 40 mil. I don't think that dial's too busy. On the other Yacht-Master, absolutely it's too busy. The whole watch is too busy. The Yacht-Master II, I'd just pass on that. Kind of like Seamaster in two-tone, but I agree, all gold or all steel. That works better for me. I hear you, Clay. Carlos is in the house again. I like the Datejust 36 black, and I'm surprised that they not release white. And white dial is available only Oyster Perpetual without going to sports. You know, and I like the Oyster Perpetual, but I like the Jubilee Bracelet. So that's why I'd probably go with the Datejust. Yacht-Master with blue dial would make a perfect one-watch proposition. Yeah, it's nice and thin. It's nice and thin. Is there a Rolex Super Jubilee that would fit properly on that case? Let me know in the chat. Is there one that would fit properly on that particular case? That would be an interesting Frankenstein watch. put a Jubilee on that. So I'd go the opposite direction. These guys are talking about putting an oyster on the Batman. They're talking about putting an oyster bracelet on the new Batman with the Jubilee. So I would go the other direction. I would take a oyster bracelet off and put the Jubilee on. That's the way I would go with all that. Can you pull up the date 36 dials? Be interesting to hear your thoughts. Vegas, I tried. How in the heck do you find them? Is it on the Rolex? How do I get it? Yeah, I mean, my gosh. Let me do a search. Date dials and see what I can do. This website is so ghetto. They try to be all fancy, and then it doesn't work. D-A-T-E, date dials, D-I-A-L. Okay, so here we go. Let's see how much of a fail this is. I put in date dials. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, so here we got the watches, date 40, date 36. All right, there's another date 36. That's got that fancy bracelet and all that. Okay, so there's another date 36. That's ugly. Now that's ugly. They got a bunch of ugly date 36s. I can tell you that right now. A bunch of watches I wouldn't wear if they gave it to me. Yeah, it looks like you've almost got to go with a date 40 to get a decent dial anymore. There's the platinum one. That would be a stunner. It looks like most of the selection is in the date 40. They're pushing people towards the date 40. If this is all the dials that they have, I don't know that I'm buying that this is it. I can't imagine they're not going to have some more that they're not showing. But I'll tell you what he'll configure. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Here we go. Date 36. So are they trying to say that that's it? That those are the two dials? I can't imagine. That would be such a major fail. I just think they haven't added the others. That would be shocking if that's the only options in date 36. It's almost like they're phasing out the date 36. The reference number has changed on the Yacht-Master Platinum 40. It's now 116622. The old reference is 116. Yeah, they always add a 2 for the new movement. Yeah, that's what they've been doing. The Black Bay 36 two-tone looks interesting. Yeah, I'd pass on any of the tutors. I'd pass on those. Craig, check out this new Patek. I'm sure you'll love it. No, I would pass on that Aquanaut. Are you trolling me? No, I'd pass on that. Go back to the chat. Pass on that. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, they need to release a choose whatever bracelet you want option for their watches. I blame Apple for this trend of no customization. Yeah, but Apple, you got all kinds of bracelets you can get. My gosh, there's a ton of options on an Apple Watch. Rolex watches, classic date, scroll down to configure. I think that's what I just did. To me, it looks like the 36 is being geared towards women. Yeah, I think they're just, I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, it's very sad. 40, select the First hand, continue, configuring. Okay. They have the new 70-hour movement in the Yacht-Master. Yes, all of them. All of the Yacht-Masters, I believe, have the new movement now. That's what I've been told. So there's that. I don't know about the Yacht-Master II, but the regular Yacht-Master, as far as I know, does. Looks like on the date, the gold dial is the only dial that does not have jewels. Oh, well, they're probably not going to get my money, at least not for that. Buy a gold GS from Steve instead. The problem is that they don't have any with the bracelet, with the gold bracelet. And most of them are too thick to use as a dress watch. You can only get, the only ones that are thin enough to use as a dress watch is the 9F, the quartz with the 9F movement, which I wouldn't mind. If they came out with a really elegant watch with the 9F movement, all gold with a gold bracelet, really nice. It's hard to compete, though, with the President bracelet on the date 8. I mean, that is just fantastic. Now, they could do it. They could do it. Their bracelets are nice. If they made a bracelet, you can't really see the bracelet in this picture, but if they made a bracelet like the one on the snowflake, for example, if they made that in all gold, which I think they might offer it in Japan that way, if they had a watch with the 9F movement, all gold, and the price wasn't insane, that's the other thing about Grand Seiko, is sometimes their prices on their all gold models is just way up there. I mean, that one he showed the other day was $29,500 on a strap. Sure, it's got a deployant buckle, okay, but still, it's on a alligator strap for almost 30 grand. I'm sorry, I can buy a date 840 for that with a discount. Dudley paid $28,500, I think, for his date 840. So I would buy the date 840. That's a no-brainer. So, if my AD has a GMT, should I jump on it? You mean the new one? I wouldn't buy the old one, the old model. I'd want the new movement. Rolex tends to take their time to roll out new dials. Rest assured, the more classic dials will come next year. Next year? Holy cow! I'm running out of years, folks. My age is up there. I don't have a lot of years to wait. A real fail, no white or black dial at 36 date. Yeah, I just don't, I can't imagine they're going to wait a year. I would think they're going to roll some out here. They just haven't put them on the website yet, I hope. I've seen a lot of professional ladies upping their Rolex game to 36 and 40. Wow. Interesting. Well, some ladies are, you know, I guess this isn't politically correct to say, but some of them are kind of big, right? Some of them have bigger wrists than I do. So, yeah, I mean, if she's like a 260-pounder, yeah, she can wear a big watch, right? But if she's like a 100-pounder like Audrey, no, she's not going to get away with wearing a big watch. It's not going to work. Rolex tends to take their... okay, I already read that. Which GMT? Good question. Tried on a date 840 recently, and it doesn't wear big. My wrist size is 7 1/4. That's what mine is. Mine's between 7 1/4 and a 7 1/2, depending on how hot it is and humid. You might be pleasantly surprised, Craig. I might be. It might be the way I go. I might get one like Dudley has with the black dial. I have not ruled it out. It's on my list of possibles. 260-pounder LOL. Need that on a shirt. I'm telling you, they're around. I mean, this obesity crisis in these United States of America is real. I mean, there's a lot of big people shifting around. And I'll tell you what, you go to one of those all-you-can-eat restaurants. I don't do it much anymore, but years ago I used to go sometimes. If you get between one of them and the food, I mean, they can move when they're headed towards the buffet. let me tell you something. They're light on their feet. Even if they're 260 pounders, they can move. And you get between them and that food, and that's not a good place to be. It's not going to be pretty, right? Do not get in their way when they're headed for the buffet. Let's see. Rolex put no effort into their new releases. A complete yawn. I like the 36 Datejust 36. I think they did a good job on that. And I think the Batman is nice. I mean, how many watches do you need, folks? We only need one really nice watch to buy and put on our wrist. I'm wearing an Apple Watch right now, for God's sakes. But, you know, you don't need a ton of watches, right? I don't think, do we? Looking at this year's Datejust 36 release, it looks like Vegas, Milgauss is right, Rolex are aiming Datejust 36 at women, and maybe, but it's just shocking. Why is it so hard for them to offer a couple of other dial options? Maybe that's just not selling that well. I don't know. Maybe that's the deal. Scott, two-tone yellow gold. Okay, my wife is 5'2", 95 pounds, but she likes 42 millimeter watches. Wow. Okay. All right. Thanks for the tip on the Alpha battery pack. Battery hack. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you got to do that because these batteries don't last very long. Trust me, Matthew, I've been there, done that, been through all this stuff. So yeah, I'm going to be able to hopefully get you set up so that you are streaming like a pro in no time. Let's see. Datejust 40 fit very well. Might be my aspirational landlord watch. There you go. Keep trying to talk my wife into buying and wearing SD 43. Okay. I've never laughed so much on your channel. Robert V. Robert V is laughing. She's an eating machine, and you know what I mean. Craig, what do you think of the Pepsi with meteorite dial? Here's a link. Let's take a look. I'll take a look at it, and I'll comment on it. I'm not enamored with it. I can't share it because I'm looking at it on my iPad. But no, I'm not enamored with that. I don't think that's the direction I would go. But it's interesting. Let's see here. The new Datejust 36 would wear well on my slim 6.5-inch wrist. Perfect all-around watch for any occasion. Rolex have done a great job with the case design. Yeah, I think that's a beauty. I think that's a possible wear all the time piece. And they can take a licking and keep on ticking. That's a good watch. I didn't like the GMT with the meteorite dial. I think the GS do pattern dials much better. I hear you. Because of the new movement in the Yacht-Master, they have put a crown between the Swiss made and the little dial chain. Okay, cool. Craig, hello. Yesterday I asked about the Yacht-Master blue dial, but because Basel, I'd like to ask you, what would you recommend, Yacht or new Batman as the only one watch? Thanks. I would get the Yacht-Master, the new one with the 70-hour power reserve, and yeah, call it a day. The only thing is it would be so cool if we could figure out how to put a Jubilee bracelet on that puppy. It would be stunning. But I don't know what end links you would get, how you would get that to all work. That's the only thing about the Yacht-Master is those polished center links on that oyster bracelet. But everything else is so nice that I can overlook that one thing. I really can. So I like the case design, the shape, the way it's rounded. I just like everything about it. I give it the nod. It's close, but I would go with the now if you travel and you need that second time zone capability where you can quick move the hour hand back and forth, if you are in and out of time zones frequently like that, that would push me towards getting the GMT, one of the GMTs. But otherwise, I think the Yacht-Master would get the nod. Now, it is a little more money, so there's that consideration too. But I think it's a little thinner on the wrist, which helps for an all-arounder. My late grandfather bought a 118238 in the 90s and practically never wore it, still in like new condition. Well, that's a fantastic watch. Yeah. Yacht-Master, rugged yet dressy. Absolutely. New Yacht-Master is white gold only, 27,000. Yeah, I'd pass on that. New Patek Philippe reference 5212 Calatrava. Let's look at that. Let's pull that up. Pull it up here. Here we go. First of all, I would like yellow gold if I'm going to get a Patek. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice watch. I'm not into the real busy dress watches for dress watch. I like something... Now, I understand it's super cool and all that, but, yeah, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, let's be real about this, right? But, now, is that platinum or white gold? But either way, I would rather have yellow gold for my dress watch. I'm sorry. I want it to match my cufflinks and everything, my pen, my money clip, all that. I'm not going to spend a ton of money and not match my other stuff. Craig, thoughts on the new steel Datejust 36 with slimmer case? Is the case, when you say slimmer, are you talking about the height of or the lugs? I think the thickness of the watch is probably the same, 11.7 millimeters. Can you guys confirm the dimensions on that thing? But slimmer case, if you mean the lugs and all, I think it looks gorgeous. I think the case looks gorgeous. I think it's a home run. Let's see here. Patek dial too busy. It's a Patek, and considering the prices of some of the steel Rolex, this is a steal in my opinion. Steel. Okay. Oh, so it's steel. Okay. All right, yeah, I didn't notice that. Okay, gotcha. Stainless steel. So that makes it interesting. Is the crown a screw-down crown? Yeah, no, I don't think I'd go there. I mean... If I want to get a Patek, I want to get yellow gold. I wouldn't get steel. I wouldn't get white gold. I wouldn't get... No, I don't think I'd go with that. No, I'd take a pass on that. It's interesting, though. Let's see. And we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. I think the new 36 millimeter steel Datejust is probably the best released by Rolex this year, Thomas says. Yeah, I think it's going to sell well. Yeah, so I think the lugs are back to where they were back before they made them a little more bulbous. I think they're probably back to where they should have been all along. They should have never messed with them. And just like the Date 8, they should have never gone to the fully polished case. They should have left it the way the 18238 is, with the brushing on the top of the lugs, and it was just gorgeous. It was perfect. There was no reason to change that. Some things don't need to be changed. So, all right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. This is a good show. We had a good show. We're going to be bringing some more people in. You guys like it when we bring in guests. Well, we're going to be bringing in some more guests. And spread the word if there are folks that want to come in and want to join the show via Skype. I got to have a decent camera and some decent audio. We'll try to work through those issues. And we can bring them on in and mix it up a little bit. This is a troll-free zone. Troll-free zone. And that works. Steve is going to be giving us a live update from Baselworld. And he's going to be giving us some end of the day late for him, but it won't be super late for us. Probably be about 4 o'clock East Coast time in the U.S. He's going to be bringing some updates at the end of the day and sharing some photos, hopefully. So we're going to try to get that together. And then that, in addition to some, it might only be one live stream from the show floor. It's going to depend on how good the cellular reception is in there and different variables, but we're going to try to make that happen. Let's see here. Seems like Rolex was listening to you, Craig. More Buffett talk next time, too. Have to stay safe. Yeah, well, I think that, first of all, if Rolex was listening to me, they'd get rid of that damn maxi case on the sub and fix it and put it back to the way it was. Put it back to the case on my red sub that I had. That was a beautiful case. Isn't just the lugs. It's those slab sides also with the sharp edges. Round all that off. Soften all of that. It doesn't have to be straight edges and all that. I mean, you look at what the red sub looked like. You look at what the case was like on those. They were fantastic. They got it right on some of these watches, and they built them for years that way, and they were that way for a reason. They were comfortable on wrist. They were gorgeous. Don't just change something just because you can change it. That's what I say. If it's right, leave it right. All right, we're going to wrap this puppy up. No, I don't think we're going to have a Cowgirls live show Monday night. Sarah's going to be traveling, checking out some colleges, but we're going to see about that. If we can get a guest host in, we'll do that. But otherwise, stay tuned for some live updates from Steve on Baselworld, and that will be the deal there. And I'm going to wrap this puppy up. Wrap this show up.